Welcome to the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes, showing you how to do wholesaling deals consistently without having to go on seller appointments. Learn the key tips and strategies that Brandon's students use to find deeply discounted properties that are pennies on the dollar, all while avoiding wear and tear on their vehicle, body, and freedom. Whether you're looking for your first deal or your next deal, it's time to send more offers with your host, Brandon Barnes.
Hey, Jamil, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm super excited, man. I mean, it's been a while since we've done some content together, and you're one of my favorites because
likewise,
since you've come into the business, you brought a different spin, a different, energy to wholesaling. And I myself have always been so seller focused. You found ways to do deals with like less of the marketing dollars, and I absolutely love it. So can't wait to get into this today.
Of course.
What's going on in your world? I mean, I know last time I think I heard you speak, talking about agent outreach. That's something that's super sexy. Like, let's get into the meat and potatoes of like how you would suggest folks go out and find deals in today's market.
So interesting aspect, right? Keegley, for those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm one of the co-founders of that company. We've been around for a minute. It's nationally franchised in 118 markets. We do all right. And the focus of the business model is relationships, right? And it was the focus of how I built my business in the first place. Like, how did I become a successful wholesaler? It wasn't because I came in and I had a budget. I didn't have any money to spend, doing direct mail. Cold calling wasn't really a thing then. People were doing it. Brent Daniels was doing it. But like, again, you're buying lists, you're skip tracing lists, you're calling homeowners on a day-to-day basis, and all of that works. It's just, can I buy more than one home from a homeowner? Typically not. Right? Very rarely do you have a seller that's like, yeah, I got 10 houses for you and I'm going to do business with you every month. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work out that way. Right? And so the way I saw that and the way I approached or looked at the whole transactional model of the business, it didn't seem or sit well with me because I felt if I'm going to create a relationship, if I'm going to take the time to follow up and talk to you and build rapport and become friendly and we're going to do this, I want that effort to pay dividends. I want it to continue to pay. And I believe that what we do as wholesalers really is an added value to the marketplace, right? Because we're dealing with a section of the market that typically isn't financeable. For those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, the houses that we buy as wholesalers are the ones that we should be writing offers on. These houses are typically in, distressed condition. They can't be financeable by a traditional bank. A cash buyer has to buy it, right? And so typically listing, and these are they're not going to be the houses that real estate agents typically want to list on the MLS, right? Because they're like, man, this is a gross house. It's not going to show well. The person who lives there is not in their right mind, or they're going through something in life right now, and it's not going to be an easy showing process. It's just, there's so many things stacked up against it for the agent,
right?
When they find that type of house. And traditionally, and still in the world of real estate agents are still looked at as the authority to speak to when you are wanting to sell a house. In fact, any of you guys that do direct to seller marketing will know that you're typically competing against an agent. An agent is talking to the person that you're writing an offer to. They're in communication with an agent at some process. You might be able to get the deal under contract before they list with an agent, but an agent is involved in the process. And why is that? Because people can't understand the contracts, right? If you're not in real estate, you don't understand the document. They want to feel like they've got somebody there in their corner taking care of them. And that's why the real estate agent will never leave. They'll never leave, no matter how many open doors, Zillows, or offer pads come into the marketplace. The agent will always be there because the contract process, and this is a huge dollar transaction, people want a fiduciary in their corner. So with that said, knowing that, I know that the gatekeeper for a lot of these transactions or a lot of these types of properties are real estate agents. And so since the inception of my business model, I have always done agent outreach. Keegley is primarily a disposition house, but we do a lot of acquisitions, and our acquisitions come from two sources mainly. First source is other wholesalers who need help selling their deals, and the second source is agents. And that's how we've done all of our business. In fact, I've done over 6,000 deals. I don't know anyone else who can claim that number. I've done over 6,000 deals. I've spent $0 in marketing, and I do repeat business with the majority of people that I talk to. Yeah, so with that said, right, let's get into it. What's agent outreach? Agent outreach is the process of reaching out to real estate agents and forming a relationship, connecting with them on a human-to-human level, right? Finding alignment. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can work with agents. You can work with agents that have houses listed on the market, or you can work with agents and ask them if they have anything coming to market that hasn't been listed yet. The difference being is one is going to be listed and one is going to be off market. Now we have this conception in wholesale that the off market stuff is the sexy stuff, but that's not entirely true, right? There's a lot of listed properties that have been sitting on the market, maybe 60, 90, 120 days, overpriced and in bad shape. Now, here's the deal. When a seller puts their hand up and says, I'm ready to sell, right? They're listed a house on the MLS and it's sitting. It's obviously overpriced. The agent knows it's overpriced, right? Now, the seller may be the person pushing price, or the agent may have misrepresented or misunderstood or misjudged where the market was and gave them a number to get the listing. Whatever happened. But it's sitting on the market and it's not moving. So if you take that first, let's look at the avenue of the house listed on the MLS, sitting on the market for a minute. Okay. And you call the agent and you find alignment with the listing agent. I don't suggest people go out and find a buyer's agent. That's not the way you do this. You always go directly to the listing agent and find a relationship, build a relationship with them. Give them the opportunity to dual representation so they can make double the money on the deal. Right now, I've doubly incentivized an agent to work with me. I'm like, hey, look, you represent me on this. I'm not coming in at your list price, but you've been on the market 90 days and you and I both know this house is overpriced. So since we know that, how motivated is your seller to really sell? Are they in a position? Do they have to sell this house, or are they just fishing? Because if they're fishing and you just want people to call you for other deals, that's cool. I'm happy to hang up right now and we can go our separate ways. But if there's a true transaction waiting to be done, let's talk about it. Because I can give you a number for this house that I know that I can buy this house at. And if your seller is open to a conversation about it, then let's do it. And so they'll say, okay, well, shoot it out at me. Great. I'm going to take a look at the comps. I'm going to take a look at what I'm going to need to do in it. I'm going to call you back and I'm going to give you a number. Understand it's not going to be where you're listed at, but you know it's not selling where you're listed at because it's been 98 days and nothing's happened. So I'll hit you back in a couple hours. So in a few hours, I give them a call back and I say, okay, look, I looked at the house. I looked at the comps. You've actually got the house listed at ARV and the house needs about $100,000 in renovation. So we're far apart. It does need $100,000 in renovations. Okay. Gas is $5.20 a gallon, right? Paint is $3 a square foot. And that's if I use the bad painter. Like, let's not be foolish, right? Like, how everything is expensive. This house is going to be expensive to renovate and I got to have to pay for it cash. I'm going to have to finance it at some point, maybe have hard money. I'm going to have to come out of pocket and I'm taking a risk. We're in a depreciating market right now. We're not in the same market as 2022. Market is going down. Interest rates are up. We're all in the same spot. My number is whatever. And then have the conversation. See, the thing is, what a lot of people do, wholesalers have this idea that agents are the devil or agents hate us. And it's not true.
Right.
Agents and wholesalers don't speak the same language. The reason being is because the educators behind us, Brandon, were the ones who were telling people that agents weren't their friends. And a lot of people miseducated wholesalers on how to deal with agents in the first place. So agents have this weird idea of what wholesalers do. They think we're predatory, or they think that we're not offering fair market. In fact, all we're offering is as is value.
Exactly.
That's it. I'm giving you 100% of as is value. This is the number this house is going to trade at. You know where I get my profit from? You want to know where I get my assignment from? I don't get it from you. I don't get it from your equity, your seller's equity. You're getting 100% of what this house is worth. I'm getting it from the future potential. I'm taking my profit from the potential, from what somebody who's going to take a risk on this house is going to give up, forego of their profit margin to me for finding the deal. So there's no money being left on the table here because this house isn't selling. Can we write a deal up? Wow. And that is the process. And it's through, numerous contacts a day, being articulate, having a good energy, connecting with human beings, building relationships, and really doing this in a service-minded capacity that you build a foundational business that becomes a referral-based situation. Let me tell you this, Brandon. I have relationships with real estate agents. If I did nothing every single day but answer their phone calls, okay, these few agents, I'd make over $1 million a year. Right, that's if I lived in a cave, bro, and all I did was answer a couple of people's phone calls.
Wow.
So, and that's from, 5 years of relationship building.
That is amazing.
That's the business, right? Let's get into the second part, agent outreach. Agent outreach is cold outreach. So this is where we reach out to agents and we just say, hey, my name is Jamil Damji. Brandon, how you doing? I saw you on on Zillow. Obviously, you got a lot of good reviews. Hey, look, I'm an investor. I buy houses that are in terrible condition. So I'm not looking for a fancy house. I don't need you to, cart me from showing to showing or open house to open house. That's not what I do. I pay cash. I close quick, but I'm looking for stuff off market. The reason being, because I like it when I don't have to deal with an appraisal problem when I sell it and I flip it. So I want to catch it before it hits the MLS. I want a pocket listing. Do you got anything in terrible condition, something you had to throw your shoes out when you walked it, that I can take a look at right now that hasn't been listed on the MLS? That's the pitch. And it's either a yes or no. If it's a no, okay, no problem. Got it. So this is what I'm going to do. I want you to save me in your phone as Jamil Cash Buyer, has all the money, will close fast. Write it exactly like that. I'm going to send you a text message every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not going to bug you. I'm just going to send you a text every few weeks and I'm going to check in. If you got something, send it my way. Sound good? Take care. And you do that 50 times a day and see what happens to your life.
Guys, we just gave you the gold right there. That's amazing. You've given the script, exactly what you want from, the homeowner. You're upfront. I've heard people talk about agent outreach, and there was actually a guy I heard recently, they talked about, hey, I'm going to share exchange socials and I'm going to be your friend and I'm going to build this relationship. I mean, I think you got right down to the nuts and bolts of it. And I like that approach. It's this business that we're doing. Yeah, we can be friends, but
Nobody wants to be your friend till you paid them, bro.
Until you've done a deal. Exactly.
Yeah. No one wants to see you on social media.
Right.
Agents find me on social media after they've done a bunch of deals with me. Someone like, you're on TV? I didn't even know you. Why didn't you tell me you're a television star? Because what did it matter? Did it matter that I'm on television? No. I write checks. I buy houses. You find deals and I buy them. That's what it is. You like my show? Fun. Cool. You got another deal I can buy.
Love it. Love it. Right down to it. And quick questions about this. You mentioned 90 days as a marker for those that have been, those deals that have been
60 to 90. I mean, I start bugging people at 60 because that's when they really know, like at 45, there's still hope. At 60, it's gone.
Anything over 60. Would you alter that pitch to the other agent if you as the investor are an agent yourself? So I know there's some agents listening. Like, how would you tweak that? How would
of course
them if you're an agent?
First, I identify as an agent. If I'm a cop and I meet another cop, I pull my badge out. First thing I do.
Very true. Exactly.
Right? So here's what I do. I'm like, hey, it's Jamil calling from Realty Executives. How are you? Listen, I'm calling on two capacities. First, I flip houses. Second, I have investors that flip houses. So I'm looking to buy myself and I'm looking to represent my investors, and we're looking for growth stuff. I play in the space of houses that don't sell well on the MLS. Wondering if you have a listing I can take a look at and shoot you an offer on.
Love it.
Right. Hey, by the way, I don't even want the 3% commission. I'll refer it back to you. You can have it. You can take all 6%. You don't even need to do dual representation. I'll represent myself for nothing. You keep the 6. I get the house. Everybody's happy.
Another one. Great stuff. And that with, I love it that you're letting them know up front who you are, how you relate. And then also that value for value, sharing that, hey, mission can go to you. I'm not looking for anything from that perspective. So that's super helpful. And then, as you mentioned earlier, when you go back and you make that second call and you give them the offer price and where you're going to come in at, that's not, necessarily formally writing up an agreement, but just so people fully understand in their mind, kind of next steps.
Yeah, next step, don't text them a number like a knucklehead. Next step, be a human being and call them. Okay, have the hard call, because that's the uncomfortable part. That's where people go wrong. They go off the rails because they're like, now they get scared. So they say, what's your email address? And then they email them and then they say, well, I've been taking a look and the prices I'm going to offer is $190K. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about people, okay? Because I've met all kinds of folks. And I've met people that when they get behind a computer, behind a keyboard, all kinds of courage, all kinds of things. They get all kinds of energy and all kinds of stuff comes into their heart and spirit. But when you're face to face and you're talking to somebody, that energy is different. And so I'm going to call you. I'm not going to text you and give you 10 minutes to think about what I had to say and let all the fear of what might happen between you and your seller or all the fear of how this could damage your relationship. I'm not going to let that enter into your mind and let your own psychology psych you out of doing business with me. I'm going to call you and I'm going to put the number on you and I'm going to hear what you've got to say about it. Yeah. That's it.
Love it. Love it. And then, of course, when you're having that agent be the one kind of helping out and you're sharing that commission or so, are you having them then, if they accept it, they're going to write up the offer? How much due diligence should you put in?
I'm taking full days due diligence, man. We're in a buyer's market right now. We're in a softy market. That's the thing. See, this is the beautiful thing, guys. Last year, what we were doing was hard, but we still smashed it. I still smashed it, even though everyone's like, no one's going to ever sell you a house like that. How many people said to me, yeah, in this market, you think they're going to sell you a house in this market for a deal? Listen, yes, not you maybe, but somebody will, okay? That's what it is. In the peak of 2022, I was buying 70, 80 houses a month. Okay, now when the market's all shifted, guess what? I'm buying 70, 80 houses a month. You want to know why my business hasn't changed? Because my heart and my mindset hasn't changed. I don't live in fear. I'm approaching every situation out of love and service, and this is how I do business. This is what we do. Our numbers adjust. The market has adjusted, so our numbers have adjusted. Our profits and our volume have not, because our hearts and our mindsets never change.
Love that. Love that. And then you're talking to agents, doing deals that way. I actually heard somebody, I was going to ask you a specific question about this, but just to pivot really quickly, doing JV deals, I'm assuming that takes a different approach. I have a mutual friend, Chris Campbell here in Atlanta, a good buddy, just went golfing recently. And he said that, their main way of doing deals is working with other wholesalers, right? How are we finding these wholesalers other than getting on everybody's list, right?
Well, yeah, that's the old way. But here's the thing. There's so many things. There's so much. Bro, I do Wholesale Hotline every Monday night. You know how many people watch that live? 1,000.
Mm.
You want to meet 1,000 wholesalers? Come to Wholesale Hotline and hang out in the comments.
There you go.
You know what I mean? You want to meet 1,000 wholesalers? Come to my Straight Outta Compton call on Sunday. That's the thing. Here's how you work with wholesalers. Because look, wholesalers are beautiful human beings. We're hustling, we're trying, we're doing our best. We're trying to feed our families, we're trying to make it happen. The thing is, though, a lot of people learn from YouTube and they're not learning correctly. They're not learning how to comp. They don't understand value. They lock up stuff too high and it doesn't make sense. And then they send it out and everyone laughs and then they just get mad, they get discouraged and they go away. Okay. Or they lock up a deal at a good price, but then they see so-and-so made $150,000 and they posted it on Facebook. So now they added $150,000 fee to their price and they're just totally out to lunch. Or they didn't comp the house properly and they have no idea how to understand value. So then you call the wholesaler and you say, hey, look, you got a deal. Let me see it. Okay. This is never going to sell at this, but I never assume that I'm right the first time. So I'll call that wholesaler back and I'll say, look, you sent me this deal. I'm questioning the ARV here because I'm looking at the comps and the comps don't support it. Which comp did I miss?
Yeah. Love that.
And they can't have it. They don't have it. Or they send you one that's another subdivision that's a completely brand new house or something else that's irrelevant. Say, okay, so this is why this one doesn't work, right? Appraisal rules. And for anybody that wants the appraisal rules, DM me on my IG. I'll send them to you. Or it's on my IG. You can download them and get them. But these appraisers, they have these rules. They've got rules that they use when they're valuing properties. And I interviewed 100 appraisers to find out what those rules were. And so when you're comping, you got to use those rules. That's why they call me the king of comps. Because, bro, I never get it wrong. I never get it wrong. Right? So when you know how much stuff is worth, when you know what you can pay, and you have these real conversations with other wholesalers, you're providing value to them because you're giving them a skill. You're installing knowledge. So learn how to comp. If you want to do JV deals, go figure out how much stuff is worth.
Yeah, that's super important. And I feel like that should be your superpower as a wholesaler, right?
1,000%. To always.
Great at knowing, what the as-is value is and where to make an offer and how to be able to put a deal together, right? So I love that. And that's super helpful. When you really kind of think through working with JV partners and other wholesalers, half the times I've found that you can't even assume that they marked up the deal at a reasonable number. I've had many of students send me deals and say, hey, my asking price is X. And you say, hey, what is this actually under contract for? And it's like $30K less.
Or $50K.
It's something ridiculous, right? And that's one of the issues I think that, folks need to go on and start putting deals out there. So
base hits, guys, base hits. Take a base hit. You make a nice $5,000 or $10,000 fee on a deal, take it. Go to the next one. Build a relationship. Do it again. 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 That's how you make money. That's how you become me. That's how you become Brandon. You don't become Brandon by scoring $50,000 on one house every 6 months. You become Brandon by doing 10 deals every month, making $10,000 on each of those deals, and you took home 100 racks.
Yes, sir.
That's how you do it.
Doubles. Singles and doubles, like that keeps you fed, honestly. Brent Daniels likes to say every 3 months, if you're singling and doubling consistently, every 3 months, a monster deal comes through.
And that's true. And you do get those home runs. They happen. They happen, but you don't ever go in like just expecting everything to work out that way. Just go in and hope to get the deal done. Bro, I've done deals for free. I've done deals where I put it under contract. There was just no margin to make any money on it, but it added value to the seller. It added value to the agent, and a buyer got a deal they wanted. And it meant I was making nothing. I was assigning at my contract price. And I've done them. I've done probably hundreds of them in my life. I'm not kidding. It's happened. But what did it do? Everybody ate. Everybody ate, and everybody recognized, wow, he did it for nothing. Yes, I did. Why? Because I know it's in the next one. I'm not thirsty for it. That thirsty energy, if any of you guys are listening to this right now and you're hitting that thirsty energy right now, switch it. Swap it out. I was just telling Brandon right now, right? Every day I work on myself. Every day I wake up, I sit in meditation, prayer for an hour. I ask God to put and instill in me, I want the intention of service. I want to be able to help people, everybody who I talk to today, let there be a way that I can help them in one way, shape, or form. And everybody who is waste of my time, I hope and I ask that you deflect me from those individuals.
Love that. You got your heart in the right place, bro. And you've given away so much game here, so much direct, verbiage, exactly how you do it. And when you're leading like that, that's when you have the right mindset. And so, I definitely encourage folks to continue to go and share for the next person that you can help out. And
absolutely.
Jamil, you've been doing amazing things for a while. You also gave some advice recently. I heard you speak with the Wholesaling Inc. event, the
it was so good.
Summit. Shout out Brent Daniels and Tom and all the guys over there in Phoenix. You talked about what you would be doing, what you would be investing in, and what you wouldn't be investing in this market currently. Can you share with the listeners right now, like what you think about, hotels, flips, buy and holds, just your feeling for the market? You said it's a buyer's market. Should folks be considering taking that property and listing it on the open market? Should you be taking them down? Like, what are you thinking about, how the market is treating us right now as investors?
Well, right now, here's what I'm not doing. Okay. I'm not collecting leverage. I mean, look, my bro Pace Morby is a sub-2 king. He loves picking up debt. I don't, right? I'm not a debt guy, right? So what I'm doing is I'm buying deep. Okay. So I'm looking for great opportunities. I'm looking for stuff that I know, like this house has been sitting, but I know the market. I know the area. I know if I did a little work on this thing, this house would be worth it. I know that the rents, I look at the rents, what would this house, in fact, I'm buying up like all the houses on my street and in my neighborhood. I live in about a $2 million neighborhood. I'm buying houses right now around $1 million. And I'm holding them all in cash, bro. And I'm renting them out for 10 grand a month. Dude, I mean, think of that, right? 10 of those gets me 100 grand. I don't even have to wake up, man. I'm a handful of houses away from that. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, listen, baby, I'm a handful of houses away from 10 of these. It's $100,000 a month. I know we do way better than that, but at $100,000 a month without ever having, and it's just simple, it's just like rental income. It's taxed lower than anything else too. It's just like passive income. You and I can get on a jet and we can go do whatever the hell we want. I'm going to set it up that way. And then I can decide if I want to still do what I'm doing and be on TV and be on YouTube and whatever. But like, I got a plan, dude. I don't have a payment. I'm living that way. So go and buy deep first and foremost. And the place where you can buy deep right now is in that sweet spot, that $750,000 to $1.5 million house, because those people, those are the guys that are interest rate. They're really sensitive to the rates because those aren't wealthy people. Those are rich people. Okay. And rich people still worry about how they're going to stay rich. They do. So I'm going and taking their houses and holding their houses right now. They're not making moves. They're not buying right now. So I'm going and cleaning up. And right now, I bought a house down the road from you, okay? I paid $950 for it. I put $30,000 in renovations into it. Had it appraised the other week, $1.5 million. I could pull all my money out and rent it and cash flow.
That's wild.
But I didn't because I don't want a loan.
That's smart, man. Look, I'm with your wave.
Second thing, I'm not Airbnb-ing, okay? Short-term rentals is getting kicked in the, I'm not going to say it. It just got oversaturated and cities are changing laws. Everything is moving and shaking. You don't know, Atlanta outlawed them, right? So I'm saying if your thing can't cash flow as a midterm or a long-term rental, walk away. Don't be running your numbers as short-term rentals. Third, fixing and flipping. If you're fixing and flipping, it only works right now at the median price of your city or less. Or if you're in ultra luxury.
And you guys can easily find that, Zillow, Trulia, Google median house price range in your city. Know that number. And to your point, you say you don't want to flip something where you're going to list it above that median on the back end.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that action. Because again, that buyer's rate sensitive.
Right.
I want to go for the buyer that's like, first time home buyer. They know they're going to refi in a few years, overpaying right now for their rate, but it is what it is.
Got it. That type of house that you're looking for is anything less than the median sales price. So for the folks that are out there pulling lists, right, and still direct the seller, that means that you would be looking for something that either has a, estimated value.
Like in my city, it's 450, right? Yeah, which means I'm trying to buy houses at 300.
Got it.
Or less.
That's where you put it at.
That's it.
Pull that list.
Yep.
Makes sense. Man, this has been very illuminating, and you guys definitely have to go back. Make sure that you have these scripts ready because I love this. And, I've always been one of these direct to seller, wholesalers, right? Finding deals, reaching out directly to seller all the time. But, my wife is, as the agent, she's been listening and learning more about agent outreach, leveraging her license. And there's ways you can work with agents. So even if you're considering getting your license, very much a real thing. Just so for folks to, maybe a little mystified on, should they go get their license? Is it an advantage? Just briefly touch on that before we the light.
Of course, it's an advantage. The laws are changing. Everything is moving and shaking. When I started Keegley, we started it the right way. Everybody who works in my office has a real estate license except for me.
I'm getting these both from. And I'm not going to get it, but
get a license, dude. Get a license, right?
If I was starting over, I would definitely have my license.
Get a license. Listen, there's nothing better than having that credential. And it's not hard. You don't need it to wholesale, but if you have it and you can take a test, like I think the reason why people don't get their license is they're scared of the exam. They're scared of the 2 weeks or the 3 weeks of prep and the exam. That's what it is. You got PTSD from high school or college or whatever the hell they didn't like.
Probably.
Right? And so that's what it is. But truly, having that credential and having that license just frees you from any catastrophe or issue or problem or legislation or whatever. All of us say a real estate agent buys a house for $300,000. A wholesaler buys that same house for $300,000. If the wholesaler makes the news and it's called a predator, the real estate agent is called a savvy investor.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Wave, right? There you go. Love it. Well, look, we've talked about everything that I wanted to cover on this episode, but I cannot let you go, even though you're my boy, without putting you through the lightning round. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Let's do it. Well, look, Jamil, so I have a series of rapid fire questions for you. You don't know the question. I don't know your answer. So just say the very first thing that comes to your mind. What's one book that's been instrumental to your growth as a real estate investor?
As a real estate investor? Man, it's nothing to do with real estate. The Autobiography of a Yogi.
Love that.
By Paramahansa Yogananda. Go get right with your soul and figure out how to live life and then be a good wholesaler.
I always love it when it's a book that I have not heard of or did not formally know. I will definitely be checking that out. I appreciate it. If you could have drinks or coffee with one person, any one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Okay.
Because he's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
West Side.
Hey, always confident, right? Best advice for someone looking to do their very first JV deal. Let's say JV or agent outreach.
Just learn it. Learn how to comp. Figure it out. Learn the vernacular. Learn what everything means. Understand the contract. Don't be one of these people that just doesn't get prepared. You don't have to be over prepared, but learn a little bit. Guys, I go live all the time. Brandon puts out content. I got stuff all over my YouTube, teaches you stuff. You don't have to be a part of my program, but I'll tell you what, joining a community is incredible. Brandon's got a great community. People got these folks that you connect with people. Come to Wholesale Hotline, watch that. Connect with Astro students, connect with Sub 2 students, connect with TTP people. Connect. Stop having this idea that You competing with everybody. Man, that's such garbage. There is nothing sexy about having that attitude at all. At all. When you have that competitive, like, oh, it's me against the world. Listen, all right? If you're in the streets, that's how it works. When you're in business, that's not how it plays.
Right. Right. Very important. Very important. One quick question for the follow-up. Do you make sure that you have this agreement as assignable in a GAR contract? And so in a real estate agent's
I do my best to, unless they can transactionally fund it or double close it. I have to have it assignable.
Okay. But that is your request. You always request.
Yeah. And if they say, why do you want it assignable? Because I don't know what entity I'm going to take it down in. I might take it at this entity. I might need the depreciation in that entity. I might bring a financial partner to the table and they want to be secured against it. I don't know if that's an issue for you, but this is how business is done. You know what? I sold land to D.R. Horton. Okay. Oh, wow. America's national home builder, right? Yeah. $2.6 million. You want to know what was on their contract and or assignee? Publicly traded company. And guess what they did with that 4 acres?
Don't tell me they wholesaled.
They wholesaled an acre of it.
Jeez. Man.
Again, when D.R. Horton, a publicly traded company, wholesales it, they're a savvy investor. But when we do it, we're predators. Get out of here.
That's hilarious.
Learn, understand your value, know what you're doing, and speak with confidence, and the world will repay you with it in kind.
Big facts. Look, what is one mistake on a deal or in business in general that if you had a do-over, you would take that chance, that do-over?
Man, probably, when I started Keegley, there was an individual that I was working with and, how I left him, I would have done it better. I hurt him. I think I kind of hurt his feelings
prior to starting Keegley?
Yeah, prior to starting Keegley. I floated Keegley by him. I floated the idea to him. He wasn't interested. And so I just left and went and did it somewhere else. I didn't man up and say, hey, just so you know, it's over between us now because you didn't take this. I'm going to go. I just kept it going. I kept it pushing, but I was also building over here. And then when he heard I was building over here, he was just like, what? And I'm like, well, you said no. And then it hurt his feelings. And for a couple of years, we weren't friends anymore. We're homies again. Because I crow and I said, I'm sorry I hurt you, but I would have done that differently. This time I would have manned up and had the conversation early enough. I think we avoid confrontation sometimes because we just don't have the confidence to, say what we want to say. But I'm telling you, the older I get, the wiser I get, the realer I get. Like, bro, I have no time to BS anybody.
Yeah. Love it. Great stuff. Good advice for folks. Look, for your home buying business, I think you've already talked about it. I don't even have to get into this. I typically ask, hey, what's your team's financial goal for the year? If you know Keegley,
40 million.
40 million, that's amazing. I just didn't want people to faint when they're listening to this. So I was going to skip over that one. But look, if you could wake up tomorrow with $500 million deposited into your account overnight, what's the first thing that you would go out and purchase with that newfound money?
Nothing. I got everything I want.
There you go. Last question for you, bro. What would you tell the person that's, either struggling right now or looking to just scale their business? What would you tell that person?
You're exactly where you're supposed to be. God loves you and puts you exactly where you're supposed to be. So if it's hard right now, find out why. If it's good right now, find out why. But you are exactly where you're supposed to be at any given moment. Stop thinking you're supposed to be somewhere else. The elegant present, man, I'm telling you. There is nothing like it. Stop living in the past. Stop being depressed. Stop getting anxious about the future. Live in the moment. There are infinite possibilities open to you if you look for them. Be here now.
I got to give you more gold, bro. That was amazing. I love it. Jamil, I really appreciate the time. Super, super busy, man. Guys, make sure that you guys go out and support. I love the show. A&E, Triple Digit Flip. Shout out to Pace. And then if you're in a market, right, connect with Keegley. If you're in Atlanta, holler at Chris. He's my friend. And definitely, I'd love to help you as well. But, there's most likely a Keegley in your market. So if you're looking and listening for this and looking to help with a deal, right, or dispo a deal, JV, shout out to the Keegley folks in your market. Jamil, look, I want to ask folks, where would you like folks to follow along in your journey or check out anything else that you have going on?
2 best places to find me are one on YouTube, youtube.com/Jamil Damji. That's JamilDamji. And then you can hit my IG. It's fun at JDAMJI for a laugh and some tips.
Yeah. I love the comedy too, man. Good stuff. And guys, while you're at it, head over to sendmoreoffers.com. There's nothing for sale there, just a bunch of great content from amazing guests just like this, show notes, and you can even connect with me there. Just head over to sendmoreoffers.com while you're at it. Jamil, this has been great. I appreciate you. It's to the moon, man. Yeah, I just want you to keep striving and going until you finally just say, hey, I'm good. Got that handful of houses.
Bro, you'll know when I float away. I'll make such a graceful exit.
You float away, bro.
It'll be like, everyone will be like, and then he was gone.
Yeah. Look.
And that'll be it.
What the book that's coming out real quick, do you have titles? Can you share that right now?
Yeah. Actually, go to biggerpockets.com/wholesale book and buy the book. Pre-order the book right now. Listen, I'm the subject matter expert for Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is the biggest community of real estate investors in the world. And they crowned me the subject matter expert for wholesale. I know what I'm talking about. Buy that book. It's the only book you need for wholesaling.
Yes, sir. Love it. I'm going to hit you with one of. That's a big, big fact. Look, Jamil, this has been great. I appreciate your time.
The only wholesale books that'll ever be in Barnes & Noble, by the way. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow. No, that's big stuff. That's big stuff popping. I love it. Guys, go check that out. Bigger Pockets, wholesale book. Shout out Jamil Damji. Shout out Pace Morby. Everything you guys got going on at Keegley. I appreciate you. As always, folks, send more offers, do more deals. Until next time, peace.
That's all for this episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes. But we know you're craving more knowledge to get yourself ready for that next deal. To schedule a call with Brandon to learn more about how to do deals consistently without seller appointments in a repeatable way, be sure to visit us at sendmoreoffers.com and be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show.